Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie and Kimberlyn Coaching, where we help strong women flourish after experiencing major life transitions. Do you hear that? What is that? Anybody remember that sound? Phone ringing. It's ringing. Pick it up. Pick up the phone. Remember, we used to always feel like we had to pick up that phone call. Well, that is your life calling you. It's your future calling you. It's calling you. Why don't you pick it up? What is keeping you from picking it up? We started a new series today. We're going to talk about the things that keep us from picking up that phone call. The choices that we make or we don't make limit our potential, our potential and our performance, limits our happiness, and sometimes we don't even realize what choices that we had that we could have made because we're so busy dealing with the things that we're going to talk about today. So if you are blocked, you're stumped, you're not being able to do the things you want to do, to live the way you want to live, you're not able to accomplish your goals either at work, in life, relationships, just your own personal peace and joy. This feeling of stuck that you feel may be because of some deep energy blocks that are keeping you from being able to release and feel and experience the high level of energy that would help you live this life you want to live. The series that we're starting now is called Don't Block My Energy, and we're going to learn some skills to help us move out of the lower levels of energy into the higher levels. Now, you remember, as we've been talking about these levels, remember that level 1 and 2 are more sad and angry, and they're what we call catabolic energy. And the catabolic energy is destructive and tiring and draining. And while they're perfectly normal for you to be in at certain points of your life, if you live there long, you feel tired and drained all the time. And the higher levels of energy are, they build you up, they help you, they lift you up, they inspire you, and they're building. And so that's called anabolic energy. So if I ever mention catabolic, that's the tiring, draining. And if I mention anabolic, that's the uplifting, building up kind of energy that we usually want to live there most of the time if we can. So when you experience a transition, whether it's big or small, big like a divorce or loss of a loved one, or small like a small puppy, or changing a grade in school, or going to college, or a new job, a new job is pretty big. And some of those are pretty big, but no matter what kind of transition you're going through, the way that you view and respond to your world around you is going to affect the way you feel. So if you're not achieving something that you want, you are probably having an energy block. Okay, so when we want to be aware of these blocks. We want to determine what they are, how they are affecting us, and then we can figure out how to overcome them or change them, or maybe just change our attitude about them. So when we enter into this discussion, let's agree that we're going to come into this from a perspective of evaluation rather than judgment. What I mean by that is, here's an example. So judgment judges something as bad or good. Evaluation judges something as just a fact that we can learn and grow with. So our example, let's say I didn't do good on the test. Okay, I didn't do well on the test at all. So judgment, I'm going to say, oh, I'm so stupid. I messed up. I can't ever do anything right. I'm never going to get this. I shouldn't have taken this stupid course. Why would I ever think I can do this? Okay, that's judgment. Evaluation is going to say, well, I didn't do good on my test. What happened? What happened to affect my test? And what can I change so that next time I take the test, I do better? Can you see the difference in evaluation and judgment? Judgment keeps us in that lower catabolic energy, negative, hopeless. I'm just judging and feeling bad. Evaluation helps me decide, Where can I do better? Where can I grow better? So as we're learning about these energy blocks, and we might learn about some thoughts and attitudes that we've had that are taking us down. If we look at them as judgment, we might say, oh, it's so stupid to think that. But if we just do evaluation, it's like, oh, I'm so glad to learn about this. How can I apply this in my life going forward and to make my life better? Okay, so let's talk about the actual energy blocks. What is keeping you from accomplishing your goals in your life, your professional life, your relationships, whatever, at any given moment? There are outer blocks and there are inner blocks. Today, we're going to talk about outer blocks. So outer blocks are things, circumstances, situations that are outside of you, things that are happening to you. It could be like the weather, the economic situation, the political situation, the pandemic, okay? Things like this that are outside of us that we probably have very little control over. Maybe you have to cancel your vacation because a family member is sick. Okay, so we have no control over some of them, and some of them we do have some control over. So those kind of things would be maybe lack of skill or education, lack of time, lack of people to help you, equipment or technology problems, family issues. So these are outside of us still, but we can take some steps to remedy these situations. So on these outer blocks, some people handle them fine. They just handle them with no problem, and other people are paralyzed by them. And the way we react, think about, and behave around these outside blocks are more important than the actual circumstance itself. When we don't handle them well, they actually go inside us and become internal energy blocks. Okay, so I have an example here from myself. So when this pandemic first started, I was angry and frustrated. Had a trip that was cut short, wearing masks, no live worship with my church, living most of my life inside my house. And so I felt very angry and frustrated. And as we went along, I started changing my attitude. I also made some changes in my world. I found some great podcasts to listen to. I joined some Zoom meetings that helped me not be so isolated. And as I made those changes and changed my attitude, I came to be happy again. And even though I still didn't like it, when it got to the point where we decided that we needed to cancel our vacation to Costa Rica this summer, I was okay. I didn't let it get me down. I didn't let it drop me down into those negative energies. I was just like, oh, well, okay. It was probably level 3 energy where he says, I don't really like it, but I can tolerate it. I wasn't joyful, but I was okay with it. And so how much happier would I have been if I had had that attitude from the very beginning? I spent time feeling sad and angry that I didn't need to if I would have just changed what I could change and accepted what I could not change. And you'll know I love the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So look around. What things can I change? Change them. What things can I not change? And accept them. Okay? So let's think about some of these possible outer blocks. So let's say you're hindered from accomplishing something you want to do because you don't have the skills or the training. Well, what can you do to get the education you need there? What if you can't apply for a new job because you have no resume? What steps can you do to produce that resume? When you feel stuck, you usually have more options than you realize you have. So talk it out by yourself, or more helpfully, talk it out with another person, and you may be amazed at the options that are there that when you get stuck in that little narrow thinking, you don't realize that you have. So if your outer blocks are affecting your life, your performance, your happiness now, what can you do? Well, first, become aware. Okay, so as we go on, we're actually going to learn some more skills, but for right now, just kind of look around and see what kind of outer problems are bothering you, and decide what am I missing here? What can I change? What can I take steps to change? And then what things do I need to just accept and change my attitude about? Another thing to remember is that even though we are strong and resourceful on our own, it is a wonderful thing to connect with other people and receive help and support. Ask yourself this question: what resources do I have access to through the people I know, through the organizations I am involved with, that I haven't even thought about? I haven't considered going to them or using them or asking them for help. I've been holding back from asking for that help. So you may have access to major resources that you weren't even aware of. Outer blocks can also sometimes be symptoms of inner blocks. Now there are 4 major types of inner blocks, and we're going to start working on those next week. I hope you join me for those, because I think you'll find them very interesting. It's some new information, possibly. It was for me, and I felt like the information was very useful, practical, and very helpful. So I hope you'll join me for these next 4 weeks after this, 3 or 4 weeks, depending upon how long it takes us to work on each one. So a note, the adventure challenge that I mentioned last week, I'm still madly working on creating it, but it is going to be pushed. It won't happen until after Labor Day, but we're still working on it. I'm still excited. We're going to take a virtual trip around the world. We're going to see some different things. And along the way, every day, we're going to learn a concept to help us create our own roadmap, our box of tools, to help us navigate all the twists and turns of this trip that we call life. I think it's going to be fun, and I will keep you updated. Y'all keep watch out for it, and hopefully you will be able to join me on that. So if you feel like you need more focused help on any of this, consider hiring me as your coach. Go to my website, kimberlincoaching.com, fill out the work with me form at the bottom of the page, and I will contact you. We can chat and see where we want to go from there. Meanwhile, I hope you learned something today that will help you have new skills, to help you look around you and have a more joyful life. So look around, notice within yourself, what energy are you feeling? What energy are you presenting? Is this where you want to be? Is it serving you? Is it helping you? If it doesn't, how can you make some changes to your environment, to your attitude, to your heart, whatever you need to do to move forward? And I hope you have a great week.